Okay, so we actually have some pretty big news to talk about when it comes to escape from Tarkov. Yesterday, Nikita posted a very interesting picture on Twitter that we'll talk about in a second, but it leads us into the thinking that 1.0 is probably coming soon, and for 1.0 and for this specific feature to be added into the game, there has to be a lot of work that's been done or being worked on at a ridiculously fast pace. I mean, this one feature is such a major addition to the game that it requires the game to work completely different than it does now. So real quick, before we fully get into the video, I want to first apologize for the footage you're seeing in the background. I was having a very bad night on Tarkov. It did not go well for me. Number two, I would really appreciate if you guys want more content like this to do with Tarkov, Gray Zone, whatever else extraction / mil sim shooter there is on the market right now, please like the video and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. Anyway, let's jump into it. So, as I said, Nikita posted this picture on Twitter yesterday with a thinking face. Now, what is this? Well, this is the old boy Prapper modeled in game. Now, obviously, we have a Lightkeeper in the game, so what am I talking about when it comes to the whole, it completely changes the way the game plays? Well, Lightkeeper was kind of a special one when it came to him being in-game. He is not a vendor, technically. He is a quest giver, and he's a character, he's a person in the game that 35% of players who play Escape from Tarkov will ever actually get to at the current state that Tarkov is in right now. It's just ridiculously hard. So not a lot of people see him. When it comes to vendors, they have to work an entirely different way. They can't really be locked behind these ridiculous quest lines to a certain extent. Now, obviously, you might have to do some quests or whatever here and there to get to them and actually have them sell things to you. I assume that's how it's going to work. But the reason this completely changes the game is because Nikita said that when in-game traders become a thing that exists in Tarkov, so will open world. Now, obviously, we know, thanks to a very recent interview, that open world is not happening in Tarkov. It will be map-to-map travel. So what does that mean? Well, that basically means that you will have a set spawn point. I don't know if it will be able to be changed. Obviously, I don't know if you can choose where you come into the map. I don't know if it will be stationary for everyone and just on different servers, and you spawn at different locations on that server in that spawn point. I don't know how that's going to work, but the way it's going to work is you will be traveling from one map to another via the extractions. Obviously, to give a map like Shoreline as an example, we have the road to Path the Lighthouse, I believe, extract, and we also have the road to customs extract. So there is two different ways to two different maps, and we can already see on Lighthouse and obviously on Shoreline as well that those two maps directly link. It would not be that hard to combine those maps and have the travel there, but if they still did a map-to-map loading instance, maybe server-based, I don't know how that's going to work. That's how basically that would work. On something like Road to Customs, where we can imagine that Customs is a little bit further, you can definitely expect like a cutscene of sorts, a loading screen. I don't exactly know how it's going to be specifically done, but I would say that we could expect at least a map or two maybe to be combined. Something like Shoreline and Lighthouse makes a whole lot of sense. This changes the way that Tarkov will work once we hit the map-to-map travel. We've been told that that is a 1.0 feature, so that obviously leads us to believe that 1.0 is coming very soon. Nikita has also posted a trailer of sorts, and I think the official Battle State YouTube has posted the trailer as well. It's a 1-minute live action trailer cinematic of some sorts. A lot of people in the community are theorizing that 1.0 is coming very soon, and while that's exciting, it's also scary. 1.0 coming so quickly in the current state of Tarkov is very for lack of a better word, disheartening, because there are so many problems that still exist in Tarkov. I imagine that they've been working hard on 1.0 and all the features for the past couple of years, and adding, you know, small things, small in the grand scale of things, features into the game to keep us satisfied until 1.0. But I cannot imagine they've been working so hard that all of the issues that we currently have with the game, whether it be the desync, whether it be the cheaters, whatever our issues may be, I cannot imagine that they have worked those out. So it looks like we're going to be rolling into 1.0 with a lot of issues that we've had since, I mean, we've been able to play the game. Cheaters and desync. Desync has obviously gotten a lot better. When it comes to cheaters, I guess it depends on who you ask at this point in time, because Reddit's always on fire over cheaters, whether it be someone saying that everyone's cheating, whether it's someone saying that nobody's cheating, or whether someone's just in the middle. It's always on fire when it comes to cheaters. So I can't help but feel like they might be trying to push out 1.0. I don't know. Regardless, that's not really the point of this video. I'm still excited regardless. In-game traders changes up the entire aspect of the game, because we're going to have to actually travel to these traders to sell our gear, to buy our ammunition, to buy our armor, whatever it may be. We're going to have to find a therapist, and we're going to have to buy megs from her if we can make it there. We have to find Prapper to buy the RGD grenades. Like, the amount of depth that I believe it will add to the game is insane. The amount of replayability I think it will add to the game is insane. I used to think that for Tarkov to hit 1.0, for me, it had to be an open world. I am cool with map-to-map travel. I'm just at the point with Tarkov where I need something a little bit more than the extraction-based shooter it is. Because don't get me wrong, while it spawned an entire genre, you know, with being extraction-based shooters, that's not what the game was originally intended to be. It was supposed to be an open-world, stalker-type game. That's just what it was going to be. It was going to be hardcore as hell. So I think this adds the depth that I've wanted to Tarkov for so fucking long, dude. I could not be more excited about this. I'm honestly curious to see how they entirely do it, because half of me is kind of worried that they're going to do text-based for some of the quests, right? For most of the quests that we have now, and then maybe they'll add on an extra quest line at the end of doing all the quests that we have now. They'll add on an extra quest line, main quest, whatever you want to call it, and that's when we'll actually end up meeting the traders in game, kind of like Lightkeeper at Lighthouse. I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea that we have to go through 90% of the content in the game just to get to the other 10%. That gatekeeps a lot of players out of accessing the content. So I'm a little bit worried that's the path they're going to go. I really hope it's not. I really hope they put Prapper somewhere in, I think he was going to be on Customs, maybe? Somewhere on Customs, and we have to go find him. It just brings us to another thought. Are they expanding maps like Customs and Shoreline? Are they expanding those maps again? Are we getting another expansion to have the area that the in-game trader will be at? It's all very interesting, all very curious. I'm very curious to see how they're doing it. I'm very curious to know if this means that 1.0 is coming within the next year, because, man, with the trailer or the cinematic releasing this photo of Prapper basically being done in-game, I mean, obviously he's not completely done, but a lot of the geometry's there, so I guess we'll just have to see when it comes to it. But I got to be completely honest, as much as people have cried that this game has stayed in development for 8 years, at this point I still don't think it's entirely ready. I think it still needs time before they can push 1.0 out and start charging people for DLCs. That is my opinion. I want to know how you guys feel about it in the comments down below. How you feel about all of this. Do you think that the in-game traders are going to work like Lightkeeper, to where you have to actually complete a bunch of quests and then you get to meet him and get his quest line? Do you think it's going to work something like that for the in-game traders? Or do you think they're going to start with you just not having access to them, period, until you discover them in-game, and you still have to go find them whenever you want to use them? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Very curious to hear what you guys have to say about this. This is pretty major for Escape from Tarkov. Like, this is probably the biggest feature that's ever been added to the game. So, very curious. That's going to do it for me, dudes. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Tug, and I've been your host, and I'll see you dudes next time. Peace out.